Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My dear students, we are doing chapter number 3, Formation of a Company. In the previous lecture, we did promotion stage, that is one of the most important stages in the formation of the company. Today we are going to see incorporation of a company, how a company is formed or how a company gets incorporated. See, following are the stages in the formation of the company. The very first one, promotion stage. Second, incorporation of a company stage. And then third, commencement of business stage. Today, we are going to focus on incorporation of a company. See, incorporation of a company, that is, formation of a company, depends upon the objects of the company, its scale of operation and amount of capital needed. What are the objects of the company? What is the scale of operation? You are going to start your company on a huge basis, on a large platform, or you're just going to have a small business unit. This is again gets in connection with the amount of capital needed. Once you plan your objectives, once you decide the scale of operation, the amount of capital needed is also decided. And the amount of capital needed defines whether your company is public company or private company. Now see, we are going to see there are 11 stages. We are going to see each one by one. After, doing the promotion stage, there comes incorporation stage, which includes 11 stages. See, following steps are undertaken to incorporate a company, to form a company. There are 11 stages. Let's see the very first one. Obtain digital signature certificate, that is DSC. Digital signature certificate. You have to obtain a certificate. See, a digital signature certificate is needed for persons authorized to sign documents for e-filing. See, nowadays everything is done electronically. All the papers are submitted in e-form. So yes, signature is also done on e-form. Okay, you must have seen, like, when the parcels they deliver, they take your signature on the mobile phone, right? Now everything is going digital. So yes, company has to obtain digital signature certificate. Now see, digital signature certificates of whom? Promoters and the proposed first directors. I repeat, promoters and the suggested first directors. Proposed first director means suggested first directors will apply for digital signature certificate to the certified authority who has got the power to authorize these digital signature certificates. Now see here, what is actually digital signature? It's a signature of a person in digital electronic form. It is used to sign on e-documents. Electronic documents, the signature is needed, which is to be obtained by promoters and the suggested first directors. The second step involved in this is register DSC in the name of director with MCA. MCA stands for Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Now what is Ministry of Corporate Affairs? First of all, see this. Ministry of Corporate Affairs administers the Companies Act 2013. Look after the Companies Act 2013, or I can say take care of the Companies Act 2013. Now, after obtaining the digital signature certificate in the name of the promoter or the suggested first director, the digital signature certificate has to be registered with the MCA. Now, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, who looks after and sees everything in the Companies Act 2013, the signatures should be registered with MCA, the authority, and this authority maintain details of all the directors, like the details are DIN, personal details, etc. DIN stands for director's identification number, their personal details, address, and their age, everything is maintained with the MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. After completing this, company has to obtain director identification number, DIN. That is one particular unique number given to the director. See, the proposed first directors of the proposed company who do not have DIN have to apply for DIN in electronic form at the time of incorporation. If I am already a practicing director of any of the other company, I will be having my DIN number. Okay, but if I'm new to this company, I have to apply for my director identification number. A person to be appointed as a director must have a DIN. It's a compulsion for a director to have a DIN in MCA. Okay, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. That is nothing like a unique number given to a director. Okay, now apply for reservation of name. Now promotion is done, you are getting your e-signature, you are getting the DIN number, everything is done, everything is falling in place while working. So yes, there comes time for reservation of the name. What name you want to give to that particular company? See, the promoters have to get the proposed name of the company approved by the Central Registration Center, CRC. I repeat, Central Registration Center, by filing form RUN, that is Reserve Unique Name, along with the prescribed fees through MCA portal. Portal means a site. Okay, it's an online site where you are supposed to register your name. Okay, you have to reserve that name. You first of all give the names, and then Central Registration Center sees whether the name is already given to any other company or not. If not, that name would be given to your company. Promoters may suggest more than one name in the order of their preference. First you want this. Okay, if this is selected, then comes the second name. So likewise, you can give one or more name to the Central Registration Center. Okay, after verifying its database, after checking whether the name is reserved or not, CRC, that is Central Registration Center, will give its approval for the proposed name and reserve the name. See, Central Registration Center, it is an authority which provides speedy incorporation related services, especially in reservation of suggested proposed name of a company, including DSC, Digital Signature Certificate. Okay. After this comes finalize memorandum of association and articles of association. After getting the name, you have to finalize the memorandum of association, because in memorandum of association, as we have already seen in chapter number 4, you have got the first clause, name clause, right? So to finalize the memorandum of association, it's very important for a company to reserve a name. After reservation, you can finalize your memorandum of association, and in that you can complete your first clause, that is name clause. Now see, we have already seen in chapter number 4, there are two most important documents of a company, that is MOA, Memorandum of Association, and Articles of Association. Now, these two documents give legal and technical information related to objectives of the company. Memorandum of Association and Articles of Association gives regulations for operation of company pursuant to company law, according to company law. Now, these two documents should be submitted. I'm sorry. Now, these two documents should be submitted along with the application for incorporation of a company. When you're going to submit your incorporation form, you are supposed to submit these two documents also. Now see here, memorandum of association and articles of association, you have to finalize the draft, the rough copy for both of them. Then the promoters take the help of professionals. Okay, now making memorandum of association and articles of association is not a easy task. It's not at all easy. So yes, the promoters, they take help of professionals like company secretary, legal experts and accountants. Now, signing, stamping and dating of memorandum and articles of association. Once the draft is formed, the signing, stamping and dating should be done for the two most important documents. See, memorandum of association and articles of association should be signed by each subscriber to the memorandum, those who are there subscribing, okay, writing their names, those who are the promoters of the company or trying to form the company, their signature should be there on the memorandum of association. Now, apart from signature, their name, description, address and their occupation should also be mentioned in that memorandum of association. And this thing, signing, writing their name, description, address, occupation should be done in the presence of at least one witness. There should be one witness that yes, the person has signed in front of me, and who shall attest the signature, who can say this person is of the genuine person, and likewise sign and add his name, description, address, occupation, etc. That person who is witnessing should also sign, write his or her name, address, occupation, etc. Okay. After this, see, after signing, the memorandum and articles of association needs to be stamped as per the Indian Stamp Act 1899. After signing, doing everything, those documents should get stamped. There should be date on memorandum of association and articles of association. That means on which date it was signed, or I can say it was stamped. See, it may be stamping date or any other date after stamping. Due stamp duty is required to be paid at the time of incorporation. Now, the stamping duty charges should be paid at the time of incorporation. Now, coming to the seventh stage, okay, see, preparing other necessary documents needed for incorporation of a company. Now, apart from these documents, there are other documents which are needed, while incorporating a company. The very first one is consent of directors, whether the directors are ready for the position or the job. See, a list of persons who have agreed to be first directors along with their written consent should be prepared. Their personal details, DIN, proof of identity, interest in other firms or companies, etc. should be included in the list. Now see, personal details we all know, DIN we know, proof of identity we know, interest in other firms or company means whether the director is working in any other firm or not, etc. should be included in the list. The required written consent should be in prescribed format as per Companies Act 2013. Now, the way Companies Act 2013 has asked to give a written consent, the director should write in that same format. Okay. Apart from getting consent, the second one is details of manager, secretary, etc. If the articles of association names a person who will be the manager, secretary, etc., particulars of such persons should also be prepared for filing purpose. Now, if the company has already decided who is going to be the manager, who is going to be the secretary of the company, even that list should also be submitted along with the incorporation form. And the third, declaration by subscriber to the memorandum and first directors. Okay. Subscriber to the memorandum and first directors should give a declaration. A declaration should be taken from each subscriber to the memorandum of association and every person named as first directors in the articles of association. Now, what is important? That he is not convicted of any offense in connection with the promotion. That is, you are not there with any of the connection, any offense that is done in the promotion. They also have to give an undertaking that all the documents filed with the registrar of companies are correct, complete and true. You have to give a declaration that whatever information promoters have provided is correct, complete and true up to their knowledge. Now coming to the 8th stage, address for communication and notice of registered office address. Even we have seen this in the one clause in memorandum of association. See, at the time of incorporation, if the proposed suggested company has not decided its location of registered office, the promoters have to give an address for communication. If your registered office is still not decided yet, the promoters have to give one registered office address for communication. Now see, as per the Companies Act 2013, a company is required to have a registered office within 30 days of incorporation. Let's say incorporation is done. Now within 30 days, the company should have their own registered office. Okay. Coming to the 9th point as obtain a statutory declaration from. You have to take a statutory declaration from whom? An advocate, practicing company secretary, a cost accountant or chartered accountant who is engaged in the formation of company. Now say these are the persons, these are the, I can say main persons or main holding positions in the company. An advocate, a practicing company secretary. Now obtain a statutory declaration for what? Now see, apart from these, again, to obtain a statutory declaration from a person named in the articles of association as director, manager or secretary. Now see, an advocate, practicing company secretary, a cost accountant or chartered accountant, then a person named in the articles of association as director, manager or secretary. Statutory declaration what? Stating that all the requirements related to incorporation has been compiled with. You have followed all the rules and regulations for the incorporation. Now coming to the 10th one as filing of application and documents for incorporation of a company. Now you are supposed to file all these applications and documents. See, after all the documents are prepared, the promoters have to submit an application to whom? To the registrar of companies who is going to register your companies in the prescribed form along with all the necessary documents and the prescribed fees for incorporation. Now you have to submit a form of incorporation along with all the important documents to the ROC, Registrar of Companies. Now see, along with the form, e-memorandum of association, e-articles of association and the prescribed fees and other documents necessary for incorporation of a company are to be submitted electronically. Now you have to submit it in paper form and in electronic form as well. Now see, obtaining certificate of incorporation, the last stage of incorporation. Once you submit all the documents, necessary form, you pay the fees, what you get is certificate of incorporation. See, after verifying all the documents, after checking all the documents and information submitted to it is proper. If it's proper, everything is correct, the registrar of companies will enter the name of the company in the register of companies and certifies under his hand that the company is incorporated, the company is formed. Registrar issues the certificate of incorporation in the prescribed form. Now see, what are the contents of certificate of incorporation? If you receive an incorporation certificate, what all things would be written? The name of the company, date of issue of certificate of incorporation, CIN number. CIN number stands for corporate identification number. Likewise, the director gets their DIN number, director's identification number. Same way, even the company gets number, and that is CIN number. Then you have got its PAN and TAN of the company, signature of registrar with date and his seal. Now see, what are the importance of certificate of incorporation? Certificate of incorporation is like the birth certificate of the company, as the company comes into existence from the date mentioned in the certificate. See, this is the most, I would say, important point through your objectives point of view, that certificate of incorporation is also known as birth certificate of the company. Now see, second, the company now becomes a legal person distinct from its members. Now the company gets the name. So now it's a distinct person. Company becomes a body corporate, okay, a working body having perpetual succession. Perpetual succession means continuation from the dates of its incorporation. And the fourth one, the company can sue and can be sued upon others in its own name. To sue and to be sued means a company can file a case against someone in company's name, and someone else can also file a complaint on company's name. Now see, this is a format for, given by Government of Company, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Central Registration Center, Certificate of Incorporation. So this is a rough performer for the same. Now see, allotment of corporate identity number. See, CIN number. At the time of issuing certificate of incorporation, the ROC also allots, gives a CIN to the company, which it is its unique identity number. See, CIN is a 21-digit alphanumeric code. I repeat, CIN is 21-digit alphanumeric code, and it is to be quoted in every form and correspondence that the company uses. If company writes any of the letters, or company submits any other documents to the government or to any of the officials, CIN number should be there on that paper. Now see, CIN, corporate identity number, issued by ROC at the time of incorporation of a company. It indicates whether a company is listed or unlisted, industry code, state of its location, year of incorporation, ownership type, and registration number. Now see, we are going to see one example of CIN number here. See how to read and understand CIN of a company. Tata Steels Limited CIN is L. L stands for limited, or U stands for unlisted company. Now 27100 stands for industry code. MH stands for state code, Maharashtra. Then 1907 stands for the year of incorporation. Then you have got PLC, the type of company, public limited company. And then the last one, 000260, is ROC's company registration number. This is how it comes up with 21 digits alphanumeric code. With this, we come to an end for your stages of incorporation. That's all for today, class. Thank you.